What's up, everybody? Welcome in. Happy Friday. Another draft edition of the Barking Brown Show. I'm Jacob, and I am solo today. We're brought to you, as always, by our friends over at Homage Apparel. I got the Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett NFL Jam shirt going on. Guardians just kicked off last night. Maybe it's a win. I don't know. I'm recording this on Thursday night, so I can't make a prediction. Let's say Guardians are 1-0. How about that? They got 20% off going on right now. I'm not sure how long that site's going to go on, but go check that sale will go on. Go and check them out. Get all your homage for the Cavs playoff run, for the Guardians playoff run, for the Browns playoff run. Can we get the trifecta in Cleveland? I think we can. But guys, I wanted to say real quick, if you're new to this channel and checking this video out for the first time, thank you so much for spending some of your time with us today. And please hit that subscribe button. Give it a thumbs up if you like what we got going on here. It helps us greatly to improve in the algorithm. All right, everybody, time to jump right on into it. It is slot corner week. Listen, we only have about a month. We're actually a little bit less than 30 days now until the NFL draft. I've been doing these draft videos all the way back since October. After the draft, once we do that, we're going to do some film breakdowns. We'll replace this series. We'll be replaced by film breakdowns of the actual picks. So we'll be able to jump into some more of that stuff as we get past the draft and we're stop talking about that. Listen, we got a situation in Cleveland with the slot corner. We don't know. Greg Newsome doesn't want to play in there. I don't blame him. Even if he does play in there this year, he wants to play outside, wants to make that money. I understand all of that. I have no problems with that. But they don't have any, even if Greg Newsome does play in the slot, they need some depth at the slot. So let's talk about some draft prospects that we could get that are in the slot. Some of these guys have a lot of versatility. And I'm going to start with I got 4 of them for you guys today. I wrote this up for Browns Wire, so you may have already heard this. I'm going to start with Travius Hodges-Tomlinson from TCU. Biggest knock you're going to see on Tomlinson is he's 5'9", 175 pounds. Yeah, much smaller guy, but you are looking at a lockdown man coverage corner with really nice athletic gifts. You're looking at a 4.41, 4.41 40. So in terms of, he's a top level style of athlete in terms of raw speed. He cuts really well. He's really fluid in the hips. He flips his hips when he's bailing, and he can flip it to go into max speed pretty quickly, change of direction really well. He's just a really, really athletically gifted player. He's going to struggle some in the run defense. A lot of that has to be doing with being 5'9", 175 pounds. But you're looking at a guy that can play man coverage and mirror his wide receiver because he is that level of an athlete. He has that kind of processor. He's a really smart player. Like I said, major concerns with the size and that sort of thing. But if you're looking for a really athletically gifted player that you think you can mold and you're not worried about some of the durability concerns, I think Hodges-Tomlinson should be towards the top of your list because I think he's a really athletically gifted player. And you're looking at a draft that has a lot of really athletically gifted players. So if you're wanting to stick with that, then maybe I'm trying to change my notes over here for you guys real quick. I gotta, some people they're cracking me up here. Yeah, he's a technician. He can play defense in multiple, he plays in multiple different, positions. You can get him outside of the slot, but I think the slot's where he's at his best. He's going to be somewhat limited because of his size, at the next level. So there you go. Hodges-Tomlinson from TCU, pretty good athlete. But as I said, got some durability and size concerns. I'm going to move on to a guy I like quite a bit out of Utah, Mr. Clark Phillips. If you're looking for a ball skills guy, you found him. You found Clark Phillips. Listen, this dude understands how to, you talk about these guys the Johnny on the spot guys, right? The guys that find a way to be in the right place at the right time. That's Clark Phillips, man. There's this stat. I wrote this in the article. In 3 seasons, he played 3 seasons at Utah. He scored a touchdown on interception returns every year, including 2 TDs. He had 2 pick sixes this year. So he understands that very well. I think he's a better zone corner than he is man. And that's because I think that's where he can showcase those ball skills. He finds himself in the right place at the right time. He does a really great job reading quarterback's eyes, understanding how the plays are kind of unfolding in front of him, understand where the quarterback might think he can exploit the weaknesses, and then he tracks the ball when it's in the air. That's the biggest thing. Can you track that ball? Can you track, see ball, get ball? Clark Phillips can do that. He's a pretty nice athlete. There's nothing wrong with his athleticism. I think he is not as big of, he's not as small as Hodges Tomlinson, but he's still not huge in the run game. But then again, why are you drafting slot corners? You're not necessarily going, hey man, my slot corner has got to lay the lumber. He's got to be, that'd be nice. But, you know, I think Clark Phillips is a very good player out of Utah. I think would make the team better. I'm going to move on to my next guy's Kei'Trel Clark out of the University of Louisville. Now, that's a guy that has a lot of versatility, but he did play primarily on the outside. So if you are looking just for a guy that can play, you're not looking to try to get a guy that maybe once somewhere down the road is going to start, or you're not concerned about him being a spot starter. You're just thinking, oh, maybe I'll get a guy like Greg Newsome that can play inside and play outside and kind of wrap all of that up in a perfect bow. That's what Kei'Trel Clark is. He has some really, really nice inside reps. I do think he's a better outside corner than he is inside. But again, if you're just looking for a guy that can do both, kind of do a little bit here, help you in a couple of different areas, Kei'Trel Clark's that guy. And I think you would not be upset in any way, shape, or form if you took him. This is the guy, this is the football IQ guy on the list. Like, this is the guy that has great instincts. If he guesses where he thinks a play is going to go, he's right more often than not. He's great instincts, but he just really processes what's going on in front of him. And he has the athleticism to react to it. You know, oh, it's a run to the outside, or, oh, it's a go route. It's a comeback route. All those things. He can play those things really, really well. He's got the size and speed to be a corner outside. I think he's a good run defender, and the biggest thing about him is he's a reliable tackler. You're not going to turn the table on Kei'Trel Clark and see him missing tackles. You know, maybe he's not going to miss 4 or 5 tackles a game. You're not going to have to worry about that. He's not necessarily an impact run defender, but he's not a liability, and we've seen enough liabilities in Cleveland last couple of years that it's nice to get somebody that you know can actually just make the tackle and actually take the guy to the ground and make that play happen. And I just think Andrew Berry loves these versatile players, and you're looking at a cornerback room in Cleveland that historically has missed time. If you're looking at a room that historically misses time, why wouldn't you have a guy that can play inside and play outside? And I think that's what Kei'Trel Clark can do. So if you're going to continue that trend, you go with Kei'Trel Clark. My number one guy, a draft crush of mine, just started watching some tape on this guy a couple of weeks ago. That's Jartavius Martin from Illinois. Listen, Devon Witherspoon gets all the attention in Illinois, and he should, because that dude is a top 10 player in this draft. I think he's the number one corner. I think Devon Witherspoon should be the number one corner in this class. But Jartavius Martin, this is where it gets really fun. Jartavius Martin, I've said this on a couple of other pods and talking about Martin. I think he's like Martin Emerson, but in the slot. Big, strong, long, physical tackler. He loves to come flying in with the big hit, but he doesn't sacrifice his form to lay the lumber. He comes flying in for a big hit. How many times do you see a guy that comes flying in from off the screen, goes to lay a big hit, whiffs on the play? That's not what Jartavius Martin's going to do. He understands the techniques and what he has to do to be a physical tackler, but also be a reliable tackler and not miss those sort of things. So if he does allow a reception, when he does allow those receptions, he does a really good job to get those guys on the ground and get them on the ground a lot quicker and moving from that sort of thing. And he's just a reliable tackler, big, long, physical player, loves contact. And he's also a deep cover safety. This is where it gets really interesting for me. I find this really, really interesting that you're looking at a player that doubles from a slot defender. So he plays 477 snaps in the slot and plays like nearly 200 snaps from deep free safety. You could have a primary slot backup and a primary free safety backup all in the same player And I think he's a really good player at both. He has really nice range. He's a mid 4.4s, 4.46 guy in terms of speed. So he has what he needs to be. The long speed, yes, if you get him on a truly, truly elite burner in the slot, he could struggle with the long speed, but you know, in that situation, you put another safety over the top. But if Juan Thornhill needs a break, he can go in there. If Newsome's playing in the slot and he needs a break, he can go in there. But the Browns have really showed with Martin Emerson last year, that big, strong, physical corner. He can do that in the slot, and he is a great run defender because of that. I think that he has some really fluid hips. Sometimes he bails a little too quick. You know what I mean? Like he bails a little bit too quick and doesn't kind of can get lost in zone coverage. But I think that he is a really impressive man coverage player. And I just love his tape, man. You can't argue tape. And you look at it, you see a guy that can play really nice as a deep coverage safety and a guy that can lock down some players in the slot. And I think that's just killing two birds with one stone. If you can find Jartavius Martin, you probably get him at pick 111. Pick 111. I think he can be a starter this year if you needed him to. But I think you're looking again at a historically hurt locker room or positional group in corner. And this guy can play deep cover safety, fly all over the board, make a great impact in the run game and in the pass game. And I think he's just a perfect matchup. All right, guys, that's it for this draft video. It's a little bit of a quick hitter, only about 12 minutes or so. I just want to get on here real quick and talk about some slot defenders that I think are really good. We're going to have another great draft video for you guys next week. We thank you so very much. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe. Please tell your friends about it. We're monetized. We're YouTube partner. We're so ecstatic that you guys have shown us just an outpouring of love and support. So we really appreciate you guys for coming here. Tyler's got a great video dropping Friday at 5 talking about Deshaun Watson. We got some stuff coming over the weekend. Going to work on some Elijah Moore film room and some other things. So all kinds of great content. Check out everything we got going on here. Go Guards, go Cavs, go Browns. I'll see you guys next time. Go Browns. I already said it, but we'll say it again.